BTS drop clue new. Jungkook confused the army. Amid the hustle and bustle of South Korea's fast-paced entertainment world, a small incident can turn into a major storm in a matter of minutes. That's what happened when BTS's V, or Kim Taehyung, suddenly gave a new clue that instantly made the army around the world wide open. No lengthy statements, no official clarifications, just one mysterious gesture that became the seed of endless speculation. But it didn't stop there. Jungkook added to the chaos with his unexpected reaction, making the situation even more heated and the army even more incoherent. It all started with Taehyung's post on social media. In the darkly artistic photo, Taehyung only wrote one short sentence that felt too full of meaning and too easy to overinterpret. Not long now. There is no context, no additional explanation. And as always, when something comes from Taehyung, the world can't just read and pass by. Army moves quickly like a detective who has been trained for years to face Tay-Tay's puzzles that are always full of layers. A few minutes later, the timeline was already filled with theories. Some speculate it was code for his solo project. Others believe it was a sign of the group's comeback, while others believe Clue was a form of secret communication between Taehyung and Jungkook that only the two of them understood. But things got even more chaotic when Jungkook appeared on Weverse Live with an expression that couldn't be more suspicious. Jungkook is usually relaxed and spontaneous, this time looking like someone who is hiding something big. And that's where everything changes. When Army asked if he had seen Taehyung's post, Jungkook smiled faintly, scratched his neck, and replied, "You guys are really fast, but I can't say anything." The sentence, although it seems small, is like spilling gasoline on an already burning fire. The army's reaction was explosive. Some screamed, some laughed frantically, some began rereading every interaction Taekook had over the past 5 years in search of additional clues, and some even believed that the two BTS members were planning something that would take the global music industry by storm. The tension between Taehyung's clue and Jungkook's reaction feels like a secret game that only the two of them understand. It was as if the two old friends were again launching a puzzle with no intention of explaining it, as if the army were part of that game and they wanted to see how far fans could interpret the little signals they were sending. But behind it, there was something strange. Jungkook was not joking as usual. His expression was too cautious, too full of control, as if whatever was behind Taehyung's clue was something very important and should not be leaked yet. Speculation grew wild when some army noticed that a few days earlier, Taehyung and Jungkook were spotted at the same location despite never uploading a photo together. These details were initially thought to be coincidental, but when Clue Taehyung shows up and Jungkook reacts in a suspicious manner, every little thing previously overlooked becomes part of a huge puzzle being pieced together by the global fandom. Some believe the clue has to do with his second special project. Some fans believe that this is a sign of the existence of a new duet, which has been strictly kept secret. Others discuss the possibility of them being involved in a visual project or a global campaign, given that both are known to have a very strong international appeal. But on the other hand, a number of ARMY considered Clue to be more personal, more emotional, and probably related to something Taehyung wanted to reveal after a long time. While theory after theory continued to emerge, the Korean media was also dragged into a whirlpool of speculation. Article after article began to appear, dissecting the meaning of Taehyung's post and Jungkook's short sentence. Even entertainment TV shows are starting to raise it as a hot topic this week. Music analysts provided commentary, stylists tried to interpret small details of the outfits the two wore, and social media experts tried to read hidden messages that might have been hidden in the short post. In the midst of it all, Jungkook reappeared a day later with a new upload that made ARMY even more nervous. He simply said, "You'll find out later." Nothing more. No emoji, no context, just that sentence. And that sentence sparked a much bigger reaction. ARMY seemed to be left guessing in a dark hallway with no lights on, while the two BTS members seemed to be standing at the end of the hallway smiling, enjoying how the fandom tried to understand their mysterious message. Some fans also began to assess that Clue this time feels different. Not just a promotion, not just a regular teaser, but something that seems to involve an emotional connection between Taehyung and Jungkook. There are those who recall how close their relationship has been since their debut, how the two often share stories about their struggling youth, to how they have always supported each other for the past 10 years. This clue, according to many of the army, has a strong nostalgic atmosphere, as if taking them back to the times when Taekook often shared spontaneous moments that now feel increasingly rare. When the rumors had already reached their peak, the agency staff remained silent. There were no clarifications, no official statements, no attempts to stifle speculation. HYB's silence actually reinforces the suspicion that something big is indeed being prepared. If usually teasers or clues are given sequentially and structured, this time everything feels personal, informal, and too natural to be called a regular promotion. In the end, what's most striking about this whole incident isn't clue Taehyung or Jungkook's line, but rather how both are able to shake up the fandom with just small gestures that don't even reveal anything directly. The two figures, who have grown up together for more than a decade, were able to create a global stir with one post and one mysterious smile. The army is now in a waiting phase, the most stressful but also the most hopeful. Whether that clue leads to a music project, a visual collaboration, or something much more personal, one thing's for sure. Taehyung has already started the game, and Jungkook has continued it in a way that sparks much more curiosity. And as always, the world can only wait, wondering, what exactly is Taekook preparing for this time? The tension that Taehyung and Jungkook create doesn't just stop at clue and that mysterious smile. Day after day, ARMY felt like it was following an endless drama. A drama in which the main players only appeared for a while, then disappeared again like a passing shadow. But it is precisely the absence that makes everything even crazier. Taehyung seems to have accidentally disappeared from the radar after uploading the clue, while Jungkook only appears in small fragments that never bring any clarification. All that remains is a question mark and a growing wild curiosity. A few days after Jungkook's first reaction, the army was shocked by an incident that was no less suspicious. At a major music event in Seoul, backstage staff leaked that Taehyung and Jungkook were seen entering the same room about 2 minutes before the show began. Even though neither were scheduled to perform, they entered one by one without greeting each other, as if to avoid attention. But what made ARMY really hysterical was the fact that they came out almost simultaneously with a smile that was too hard to describe. A smile that was too secretive. The rumor spread quickly. Everyone wondered what was going on in the room. Was it a secret meeting? Are there any new projects? Or is it something more personal that only the two of them have kept? Every little detail begins to be analyzed. From the way Jungkook looks at the camera after leaving the room, to the way Taehyung bows his head while biting his lips, gestures that further provoke suspicion that something is indeed happening. But strangely, even though rumors began to run rampant, the two remained calm.